Let's create a trending hypercasual mechanic in this video. On Sketchfab I have found this model which I used for the money. So just download it and then take the folder, drag and drop it into your Unity project, and you have it imported. I will just do it for the demonstration purpose because I already have set up my scene, or just dragged up the model into my scene. So I will just remove it again. So when we have the model in the scene, let's do some changes. Let's put a layer to player, and let's create a new empty object in the scene and call it player as well, and parent our model to this new game object. So I like to do it this way, so to put the model itself as a child and then do all the stuff like scripting, colliders, etc. on the parent itself instead on the model itself. So now let's put the model where you would like to have it, and after that just parent it to the new transform, the empty game object we have created. Okay, let's now add the colliders on the parent and adjust the width and the height of the collider itself. Okay, that's it. Now let's add the rigid body on it, because we will move the player with the physics, so we need a rigid body. And let's create our movement script.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah. Push and pull and repel any hate, go create what you want, feel compelled, yeah. And once you finally get a taste of the race, you'll never look back once you felt that. Don't let somebody take your time and your worth, just focus on yourself first. Don't let somebody take your time and your worth, just focus on yourself first. About others way before myself, yeah. I guess that's why I feel like I go through hell, damn. Wasting time on your dreams instead of mine, yeah. About to turn this franchise around on a dime, man. It's all about finding your right state of mind. It's all about turning the worst into fine. It's all about time and the work and the climb. From the thirst we will rise, I'm immersed in this life. Don't let somebody take your time and your worth, just focus on yourself first. Don't let somebody take your time and your worth, just focus on yourself first. Don't let somebody take your time and your worth, just focus on yourself first. Don't let somebody take your time and your worth. Just focus on yourself first.
So a scripture check while we are holding our mouse button pressed, if we are moving the mouse left or right, and apply force in the direction relative to our movement. And also we should constantly move the player forward. Does not matter if we are pressing, holding or not. We're using here the mouse X input settings. You can check in the project settings if the input is defined in the input manager. I will show it to you here. Also take care of the name, it's case sensitive. So here we are checking if we are releasing the mouse. We should continue traveling forward, but not to the left or to the right, so only constant forward force. So let's now compile and put the script on our player, on the parent one. And we should here, the speed is very low. We should increase the speed because it will move too slow. So you can play here with the settings and with the speed and adjust it to your needs. Okay, now we need our camera follow the player while moving forward. So let's go to the camera setup here. We are using Cinemachine in this case, so we need to do the adjustments or the settings on the virtual camera. Just put the follow target, so drag and drop our player. And let's adjust our settings. So the camera is now following our player, but as you can see, the player is slightly rotating to the left. So we will fix this. Let's go to the rigid body of the player. Reset the rotations. And just down in the constraints of the rigid body, let's constrain the rotation in the y-axis. Okay, now it looks much better. So we have no rotation in it and it's constantly moving forward. Perfect. So let's move on and let's create a prefab from our player. So first thing, let's create a folder, a new folder, name it prefab or prefabs, however you like it, and just drag and drop our created player. So as we need to be able to collect some money on the way, we need also to have some collectibles. And for that, we will just duplicate our prefab, so our player prefab, and create a new prefab for the coins or the collectibles which we will collect on the way. Also, let's move them to a new layer. So let's create a new layer. And afterwards, let's assign this layer to the collectibles. So let's on the collectibles itself, let's remove the movement script because we don't need it there. And let's create a new prefab of it so that the changes will not modify our current player prefab. Also, let's create a new tag for it. Let's call it money or however you would like to have it. Okay, let's move it a little bit forward and try to collide with it. Right now it will not work as expected because we need to do some changes, but you know, right now if we try to collect it, we will just collide with it because it has a rigid body and a collider on it. So let's see. Okay, as you see, we are stopping also because the power or force is not so big that we are able to move it. So anyway, for the collectibles, we will go and change it to be a trigger, so to be able to collect it and not to be a collider, so that we are not colliding with it like now. Okay, now let's go and create a new script. So our collection manager. Okay, here we will use the onTrigger enter method to check the collision with the collectibles here. Let's just quickly check if it works. So yeah, it works. So if you can see in the left down corner on the console, we have the debug message. Okay, for demonstration purpose, let's just check if we are colliding with our money tag, so our collectibles. Let's parent it to our player parent, so it will move with it together. So yeah, we are triggering it, and now we are parenting it, and we can move it together. But this is not the mechanic we want, because the current trending ones are like that you know, you have a slow delay in the x direction. So when you move your player, it should slowly move the new child object with it. Okay, to achieve this mechanic, we first need a new script which will be assigned to the collectibles. This script will move the collectible with the latest node, so it will sync the movement with a small offset. And you will, on trigger enter, just give the reference to the latest node, and the rest will be synced here on the update method. As you can see, the movement here is not so nice. It's somehow lagging. So the issue is we have a rigid body and we should move it, move the physics and not just move the transform here. So let's change our script. So as we are moving physics, let's move the code to fixed update instead of update. Okay, now let's test it again. It should be much smoother now. And I will attach the project to the video in the description, so you will be able to download it and look into it. And I hope it will help somebody. So thanks for watching. And hit the like button, this would help me a lot. Thank you. Bye bye.